Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad FAUZI bin NGATRI. My matric number is 1190809. Okay, today I and other group members will present about the study on perceived employability among the final year students and fresh graduates. Okay, before we go further, this is the content that we will share today with all of you. Consists with introduction, literature review, research method, result and conclusion. Okay, now I will share about the introduction section, which is the first part in this section is background of the study. Okay, in the background of the study, in this part I will share the important part of our study, which consists of a problem statement, outlines of the research questions, research objective, and we also will address the significance of the research and the scope and limitation of the study. Okay, for the problem statement part, the rising unemployment among fresh graduates is the main issue for our study research. We also identify the reason why fresh graduates is so struggling to find a job in many areas, especially in this country. The rising unemployment among fresh graduates needs to be solved. So, from our research, we aim to get a better understanding of perceived employability among the fresh graduates. Okay, next, for the research question part, we prepare two types of question for our respondents, which is the main research questions and the focus research question. In the main research question, we ask the people the questions such as what does the factor influence perceived employability among final year students and fresh graduates. For the focus research question, there are few questions that we ask, such as the first is what is influence of soft competencies towards perceived employability among the final year students and fresh graduates. And also we ask about what is the influence of education qualification towards perceived employability among final year students and fresh graduates. And also other several questions as below.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Arif bin Malek. My matric number is 1190801. I will continue with the objective of the study. The purpose of the paper is to analyze perceived employability among final year and fresh candidates. The research is based on survey finding through a few structured questionnaire to 121 random respondents from different states and institutes in Malaysia. The findings aim to explore the perception of fresh graduates on employability and identify the factors that affected graduate employability in this country. Besides, this research also identifies the employers' needed employability skills and their application in the job context and the potential of fresh graduates to enter the industry. Next, I will continue with the significance of the study. This study was conducted to understand the graduates' employability and factors that may influence it. In the Macro Trends official website, it showed the change in Malaysia's unemployment rate from 2018 to 2021. It explicitly pointed out that the unemployment rate of Malaysia is increasingly slowly year by year. In Malaysia, there was an increase in the unemployment rate from the year 2017 until the year 2026. It is implied that Malaysia's unemployment rate will slightly increase, and it forecasts the unemployment rate's future value. However, Malaysia is steady and won't pose a serious threat in the following 10 years. Moreover, this study will analyze several factors that may possibly be some of the factors that employers are evaluating to employ fresh graduates. In this regard, this study will give awareness to undergraduate students and to the public on the point of view of employers in recruiting their employees. In addition, through the analysis made by this study, hopefully this study will help undergraduate students to be more well prepared before they enter the industry. Furthermore, I will continue with the scope and limitation of the study. This study is focusing on self-perceived employability among final year and fresh graduate students in Malaysia and the factors that influence it. Recent studies and research will be used as reference to determine what factor influence graduates' perceived employability and their understanding of current employability among final year students and fresh graduates. This research will provide answer and reasons for our study, and data will be collected from the distributed questionnaire. Besides that, this study is limited and will not cover other problems that are outside of the study scope, which does not consider as the factor that influence a graduate's employability.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Muhammad Imran bin Abdul Rahman with metric number 1190860. Now is the literature review part. For the literature review part, I will start with the overview of perceived employability. According to Van Herk and colleague 2014, perceived employability is the individual's perception of their prospect of findings and keeping a job includes the 4 key elements shared by various definitions. The first one is perceived employability is a subjective evaluation that relates to a more psychological view of employability. Individuals will have diverse perspectives of the same objective experience. The second is perceived employability refers to job possibilities. The word possibilities is wide since it suggests a synthesis of human and structural elements as well as their interactions. And third is the concept relates to obtaining and maintaining job. This back up to the idea that perceived employability is crucial for many groups on the labor market and throughout one's career. And fourth is perceived employability refers to the possibility of employment, whether with the present employer or another employer. Next, the first factor is soft competencies or soft skills that influence our dependent variable. The candidate must have soft competencies in order to be successful in this fast-paced industry, which require them to adapt to the environment. According to Pricing 2011, the most significant challenge facing recent colleague graduates is not a lack in abilities, but rather a lack in adequate skills. Just because we graduated from college doesn't always mean that we are ready for job. Then according to Fair and Phrase 2013 found that contemporary organization value initiative. The organizations value the identity. And then the last point is flexibility and bravery attitude, such as help teams and organization groups beat competition of other candidates. Continue with the second factor, which is education qualification. Education qualification may help us not only get a career, but also one that provides both financial and moral advantages. The range and depth of occupations accessible to us might be influenced by our degree of education or level of education. According to Koch-Muller 2010, we can often apply for a larger selection of occupation or works with higher academic qualification, and the ones we can acquire usually pay more and provide more opportunities for advancement. The importance of education's qualification factors in accepting fresh graduates or final year students is relevant because it gives an advantage over other candidates if they have a bachelor degree and so on. And finally, education qualification demonstrate to companies that we have had a well-rounded education. It also illustrates that we can be counted on to have fundamental communication, cognition, and reading comprehension skills.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So now we will proceed with another factors that we are going to analyze, which is physical appearance. So a literature review on physical appearance is physical appearance is about someone's height, someone's weight, skin tone, teeth, grooming, and cleanliness. It is all about the level of appearance of somebody in front of the others, and it also can affect the job market. A number of data survey highlights that physical appearance, it is a fact that physical attractiveness or physical appearance can significantly affect the job market. And another info is about physical appearance also can affect hiring decision. So attractiveness does have effects towards the recruiter's decision, and it have the potential to influence the employers to recruit someone to join their team. And the last point is physical appearance does offer significant advantage, such as with a good looking faces, with a good cleanliness, someone will have potential to win over someone's hearts, to win over the employer's heart, and also it will help them to sell goods and draw in clients and others. So this is why we say that physical appearance might be one of the potential factors that affect the effect on students' employability. Alright, the next factor that might be the potential reason that affect the student employability is experience. So, according to the previous research, it showed that human resource management (HRM) they frequently discuss personal experience when you talk about recruiting someone. And so, how does students want to enhance their experience, want to get experience? So, in terms of experience, confidence, self-esteem, all of this is gained through personal development. Right. The next point is employers desire experience. So therefore, students need to try their best to find ways to enhance their experience, to get experience, so that they will increase their chances to get employed. Alright, the last factor that we are going to analyze is general skills. So general skills, it is about skills that do not require technical knowledge and ability, but are necessary and transferable for each job, which means it can be applied in any type of jobs. So that is general skills. So general skills, it also may help us to secure our job in the future. Why? Because some types of the general skills are the self-statement, adaptation, emotional intelligence, problem solving, and many more. So this type of skills, employees are looking for it. And the next point is general skills, it needs more time for people to master and use in their daily life, which means that it is not easy for a person to develop a general skill. It's not something that you can just get it just by pick of fingers, but it's something that need to be trained day by day. You need more time to apply it. So yeah, general skill might be one of the factors that influence the students' employability.
Next, we move to the chapter 3, which is research methodology. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is LUKMAN AIMAN bin RUHAIZAD. Inshallah, I will continue the presentation, which is chapter 3. In this chapter, it will tell about the research method. In this research method, I will tell about the two things, which is research design and questionnaire development. Okay. For the research design, this research use quantitative method by distributing the questionnaire to determine self-perceived employability among the fresh graduate and undergraduate students. This research also adopted the snowball sampling method by sharing the questionnaire with a small group of people, such as close contact of the research member. This group of respondents will share the questionnaire to their friends that were with self-perceived employability. The questionnaire was distributed via social media such as WhatsApp, Twitter, and Instagram. The range of respondent age is between 18 to 27, that considered as adult. The selected respondents were chosen to ensure the data collected will be significant to the purpose of study. Next, I will move to the questionnaire development. The items from previous research were used to create the questionnaire. It included the measurement of variables such as soft competencies, education qualification, physical appearance, general skill, and self-perceived individual employability. A 7-point Likert scale was used from 1 to 7, with 1 representing strongly agree and 7 representing strongly disagree, and respondents were required to answer each statement in the questionnaire.
Okay, now I will share about the chapter 4, which is the result section. Okay, in this chapter, I will explain about the frequency analysis that we have collect the data from the respondents from our questionnaire. Okay, for the demographic section, I will explain the analysis and the data about our respondents' feedback on our questionnaire that given to them. It includes their age, marital status, personal income, highest education, gender, and other questions. Okay, for the first question in demographic section is age. In this question, we already collect 121 total respondents, which is 99 of them is the age fewer than 18 years old, which is the highest with 81.8%. The age 19 to 23 years old recorded the second highest with 20 respondents or 16.5%. And 1.7% or two respondents are from 24 years old to 27 years old. Okay, for the next question is marital status. In this question, based on the result, 113 out of 121 respondents are recorded as a single or not married, with 93.4%, while 4.1% or 5 respondents are married without children, and the balance with 3 respondents or 2.5% are recorded as a married with a children. For the next question is about personal income. From our result, almost all of our respondents have a personal income below 1,000 ringgit, which is 98.3% of our respondent or 117 total, while the others 1.7% of 4 respondents have a personal income of more than 1,999 ringgit. Okay, for the education section, we have a few educational backgrounds of our respondents, which is firstly, there are 8 or 6.6% of our respondents are SPM graduates, which is have a same amount with the STPM graduates. And we also have 50.7% or 19 respondents diploma graduates, while the balance of our respondent, which is 86 respondents or 71.1%, is a bachelor degrees graduate. Okay, for the next question is gender. Based on the result of our findings, the data recorded almost the same amount of male and female respondent, which is 61 respondents or 50.94% respondents are male, and 60 respondents or 49.6% of respondents are female. Okay, for the respondent category, we have three types of respondent category, which is final year students, fresh graduates, and postgraduates. Okay, for the final year students, recorded the highest number of respondents in our result, with 81.8% or 99 respondents, while 20 respondents or 16.5 is fresh graduates. The others 1.7% or 2 respondents are recorded as a postgraduate students. Okay, for the next slide is about the institution of our respondents. From our results, most of the respondents are recorded as University Science Islam Malaysia students, with 93 respondents or 76.8%. A total of 8.3% or 10 respondents are from UiTM, which is consists of UiTM Shah Alam, UiTM Rembau, and UiTM Puncak Alam. And the other respondents or 14.9% or 18 respondents are studying at a various institutions in Malaysia, such as ILKKM Seremban, QUIP, University of Lingkok Wing, Polymas, UIAM, UKM, UMS, UNIZA, UTEM, UTHM, and UNIMAS. Okay, the next question is about faculty of our respondents. Based on the pie chart shown, the faculty of Economic and Muamalat USIM recorded the highest number of selected faculty with 63.6% or 77 total respondents. For the others respondents are from the other faculty such as FKB, FKP, FPQS, FST, Faculty of Medical Science, Faculty of Business, and other faculties. Okay, for the question of ethnicity, the result recorded that all of our respondent is Malay, and also the question of religion, we also recorded 100% of or 121 of our respondents are Islam religion. And the last question also show the same trend, which is 100% or 121 of our respondents are Malaysian.
Next, we move to the reliability analysis. In this section, Cronbach coefficient alpha have been used. It's because this coefficient is the most used test for reliability for multi-point scale item. Firstly, we can see the table 1, which is indicate that the result for test reliability by using SPSS. Okay. For the first factors of competencies, it coefficient is 0.928. Next, education qualification is 0.767. The coefficient for physical appearance is 0.801. Next, the coefficient for experience is 0.911. And then the factor for the coefficient for genetic skill is 0.872. And lastly, the coefficient for specific individual employability is 0.890. Okay. Okay. The higher the coefficient, the better the measuring the factor. Okay, as we can see, the summarize of the result, the overall Cronbach alpha is more than 0.7. This mean that the result for all the factors considered as acceptable that we can refer based on the table 2. Next, we move to the next factor, which is the two factors show excellent consistency, which are soft competency and experience that have Cronbach alpha more than 0.9. Thus, the internal consistency for this factor is excellent. Next, the factor that considered as good are physical appearance, genetic skill, and self-perceived individual employability. All these factors have Cronbach alpha between 0.8 to 0.9. Lastly, education qualification has the lowest Cronbach alpha, which is 0.767, but is still greater than 7 and it considered as acceptable. Okay.
Now move to the multiple regression analysis part. The first factor to examine using regression analysis is soft competencies. The value shown in the table is 0.389. If the significant beta level is less than 0.005, the hypothesis will be accepted, but here we can say that the hypothesis was rejected. It was also endorsed by 121 respondents from various universities and age categories in the online survey results. According to Helen Coleman 2022, mentioned that when we think about training in the workplace, soft competencies may sometimes be disgraded since they are not as tangible as hard competencies such as coding or Excel abilities. However, building soft competency training for workers is as crucial as growing technical abilities. It is possible to argue that soft competencies such as accurate listening skills, attentiveness, and so on are unimportant in the workplace, but they must be stressed or emphasized to have an advantage over other candidates, particularly for fresh graduates and final year students who are new to the industry. Then, for the education qualification factor, the outcome state that this factor is supported and accepted by the hypothesis. From the table, we can see that the significant beta value is 0.001, which is less than the indicator level of 0.005 required to accept the hypothesis, because most fresh graduates are seeking for job for the first time. Their educational qualification seems to be the most important qualities in seeking employment or employability. It's also revealed that nearly all of our 181 online survey respondents believe that education qualification is significant in determining employability. It is a fact that the contributions of these fresh graduate and final year students may help the country's progress. Based on the outcome of our research, it can be concluded that education qualification leads to increased work prospect.
Alright, now we will discuss on the results of the survey which have been done. So according to this study, physical appearance, we can see at the significant data, significance beta here, it is 0.52, which means the hypothesis is rejected, which means physical appearance is not one of the factors that influence the student's employability. But yeah, we cannot deny that it is a fact that individuals do mostly unconsciously treat others differently depending on their appearance. This is something that cannot be controlled, and it also can lead to socio-economic injustice. And sometimes some of the example of socio-economic injustice is like unequal pay, income distribution, harassment, bullying, and other similar concerns about it. And the next point is employers also the one of the reasons I think that why this physical appearance is being rejected, because if you look at a lot of previous study, it shows how physical appearance is actually one of the factors that influence employability. But now we can see the results show that the different, it contradict with the previous research. So maybe one of the reasons is because employers and other people outside there have start to be mindful, have start to be concerned that this bias thing is not good, and they start to avoid being biased. They start to avoid being unjust in their decision to avoid recruiting candidate based on their looks. So this may be the reason why these factors is being rejected now. Alright. Now, we will proceed with another factors that we have analyzed through the research. So from this study, we can see that experience is one of the factors that are being accepted. The hypothesis is accepted since the significance data show that 0.005, which means that the hypothesis is accepted. However, when we talk about experience, we are not in denial that all of employers are recruiting a person. They are looking at the experience of the person to employ them. But we need to remind ourselves to bear in our mind that the fresh graduate, they don't have experience. They are just getting started to work. So here are several ways that might help students to enhance their experience, which is through internships, volunteering, formal employment, freelancing, projects in programming, academic projects, extracurricular activities, and tutoring. And some of the research have been done. There is one research have been done by the ADNIN. It stated that volunteering and internship are the most efficient ways to acquire relevant work experience. Right, that's all for experience. Alright, the last factor is that are being analyzed is general skills. So general skills, the hypothesis that stated general skill is one of the factors that influence employability. It is also accepted because the significant beta show that it is lower than 0.001. And so what is general skill? General skills, it have two types. There is two types of general skill, which is soft skills and also hard skills. So soft skills is about intangible abilities that are consistent with social engagement and professional success. While contrary with hard skills involve in procedures, processes, and instruments that are frequently linked to technical features. Alright, so that is hard skills and so soft skills, which are the type of general skills. So, general skills also, as we have stated earlier, it is skills that cover all industry. It can be applied in any industry. It can be applied in any employment levels. So from entry level, from the starting of to take the job until to chief executive officer, CEO, it is something that can be applied throughout the level of employment. The last and then general skill also can increase employability options. When you have a lot of skills, it will widen the area of your employability. You will have a lot of options, a lot of chances. And lastly, general skills, as we can see here at the unstandardized coefficient beta, it shows that it is 0.370, which is higher than unstandardized coefficient beta of the other factors, which points out that general skills is the most influenced factors than other factors in terms of students' perceived employability. Inshallah, that's all from us. Thank you.
Finally, I will move to the conclusion of the study. In conclusion, it is important to explore thoroughly the perceived employability among the fresh graduate. It is to ensure that fresh graduate students know what factors or criteria are needed to be accepted working in the job that they want. This study has collected data from the fresh graduate students as it will be significant to the purpose of the study. In addition, according to the reliability result, the overall Cronbach alpha is more than 0.7. This means the result for all the factors is considered acceptable. However, there are two factors that show excellent consistency, which are soft competencies and experience, which have Cronbach alpha of more than 0.9. This proves that soft competencies and experience are the most important factors that influence employability among the fresh graduate students. Furthermore, the study found in the multiple regression analysis that education qualification, experience, and general skills become the important factors that influence the fresh graduate students' employability. Based on the result, it showed that the hypothesis of taking education qualification, experience, and general skill as one of the employability factors is accepted. This means that education, qualification, experience, and generic skills are the important thing that every fresh graduate must have to secure their job in the future. This is because every recruiter of the company will hire the most experienced worker with a good background of education, qualification, and generic skills to work in their company. In short, apart from the 5 factors that the study examined, only 4 factors are considered important factors that influence the fresh graduate students' employability. The factors that influence fresh graduate students' employabilities are soft competency, education qualification, experience, and generic skills. Besides that, it is also hoped that research on perceived employability among fresh graduates can help many students to understand what criteria or factors they must have to secure the job that they want in the future. That's all from us. Thank you.